Hello, everyone. This is Tom, your host for the Hidden Truths channel. How are you doing this morning? Well, we're going to try take two this morning because my take one, obviously, YouTube didn't even have me hooked up, but they said I was like, anyway. This morning, we're going to talk about the list that the FBI needs to create that Pam Bondi told them to create about how to classify Americans, and that's how I'll put it. And we're going to talk about these blowing up these Venezuela boats and killing the occupants. I'm going to give a little bit more of my opinion on that. So that's what we're going to discuss this morning. If YouTube allows this live stream to go through. So that's what people think is left against right. You know, they got the people played against each other. Well, these people are sitting there laughing and going to the bar together and having drinks and stuff. I mean, wasn't Bill Gates just at the White House? Talk about one all-in-one vaccine. Anyway, yeah, they're all on the same page. And as a content creator on YouTube, you really can feel what they don't want you to talk about and deal with AI algorithms and stuff. And it's kind of like a vet dealing with the VA system. And people don't realize how bad socialized medicine is, but the vets do. So anyway, just fighting YouTube, whatever. Well, however I have to get the word out, I'll get the word out. Anyway, waiting for some people to show up here. Maybe this live stream won't go through either. Maybe I do got somebody here. Well, hello, welcome to the Hidden Truths channel. Anyway, I hope everybody had a good weekend. I did. I got the cowboy again for a couple days this weekend. I like it when I can go out there and do my cowboying and stuff. It's a good way I relax and stuff. I'd rather work with animals than people. But the people I work with, they're hardworking, get their hands dirty out there. Don't quit till the sun goes down. Yeah, those days. So I had a good weekend. It was relaxing. I didn't put out a lot of content, but anyway, I hope everybody else is enjoying as much of this time as you possibly can, because things are going to get bad. We're going to talk about this a little bit, okay? So Pam Bondi told the FBI they needed to create a list of people that are, they say, domestic terrorists to this country. The Democrats use the term domestic extremist, okay? Same dang thing, another list that the government's going to create. But I got one question. One question. Is the government going to be on that list? The biggest domestic terrorist in this country, our government, is that going to be on the list? I don't want to get excited on this live stream. I'm going to stay calm. But the reason we got domestic terrorists in this country is because of the biggest domestic terrorist in this country, which would be the U.S. government. But I'm sure that's not going to be on there. I mean, Trump, when you were talking about draining the swamp, what did you mean by that? Didn't you mean you were going to get rid of all the criminals in Washington, D.C.? The terrorists, the domestic terrorists of this country in Washington, D.C., draining the swamp? Hell, you got the troops in D.C. now. Our government is the number one terrorist, domestic terrorist in this country. The Constitution and the government that was created from the Constitution that was first formed, that is not the same type of government, constitutional government we got now. Okay? Both sides want a democracy. They want the Republican democracy or their liberal or their democratic democracy. Okay? The idea of being American ain't there no more. We got us in the middle that want to be Americans, that just don't understand why the people on the right and the left that are just fanatically extremists just can't realize and follow the Constitution. I mean, like I say, the Democrats made a list. I was on that list. Domestic extremists. I was a Marine. Any reason at all to sit there and put you on a list. You don't think I'm going to be on the Republicans, the FBI list for, hell, they're probably listening right now. Hi, FBI. Don't you think I don't know you ain't going to be on your list? But see, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit what these beta male pussies are going to say anymore. A list. Like I said, the government needs number one on that list. If we take out number one on that list, the U.S. government, then all our other problems will be solved. Okay? But who are they say they're going after? Well, first, the people that are against ICE and all these protests and, assault on ICE agents. Really? How long has this been going on? About 7 months? How come you haven't stopped it yet? See, they allowed this problem to progress to a point where they could sit there and put the hammer down harder on people instead of just dispersing the protests in the first couple days. It's gone on for months and months, and now they're a domestic terrorist group. Okay, I don't like what they do, okay? What they stand for, you're standing for somebody to be in this country illegally, and you don't understand the concept of how you're living a shitty life, and you don't understand how these people are causing part of it. I don't like what they stand for, but they're Americans. How can a government declare an American citizen a domestic terrorist and not declare itself a domestic terrorist? This is what I'm getting at, folks. The biggest domestic terrorist in this country is the U.S. government. And you may say, oh, no, really? How many of you all do something you don't want to do because you're afraid to face the terror that might come down from you because the government might get upset with you? How many of you knuckle under and bow because the government uses its terror to sit there and influence your decisions? How many? A lot. And then you run into somebody like me that's like, fuck you, Trump. Fuck you, Biden. Fuck you, Democrats and Republicans. I'm a constitutional conservative. I know the law of the land. It's the Constitution. It's not the government in D.C. That's not the law of the land no more. I'm done with it, the whole fucking thing. They can put me on a list all fucking day long. I really don't give a shit. Okay? Yeah, I'm sure the Patriots were on lists too, that the British were all accumulating when the British were still in control. I'm sure they had their list too of patriots. So good, I'm on a patriotic list. I don't have a goddamn problem with that. I don't have a problem with the government knowing that I want to throw their ass off. But, like Tucker Carlson said the other day, there's two paths we're going to go. Totalitarianism, and I'm telling you, the Democrats and Republicans are all in cahoots. Okay? Or we're going to go down the path of resistance, revolution, civil war, whatever that may look like. That's the future of our country. We're not going to vote ourselves out of this, or all of a sudden the government's going to stop printing money and spending money they don't have to get us out of this. Or all of a sudden they're going to understand, after they're going to college for 8 years to understand the Constitution, they're finally going to understand it. What the average man can read at once and completely understand it. Wow, this is easy. This is how easy government's supposed to be. The Constitution isn't that complicated. Not as complicated as these fucking constitutional lawyers want to tell you it is. It's not read it or listen to it once. It doesn't take that long. It doesn't take too much time out of your day to sit, like I say, go to YouTube or wherever and get an audio version of it, listen to it. And didn't think that's what the founding fathers wanted. Like I say, go in the Federalist Papers, anti-federal. Read the words of the founding fathers. This is not what they wanted at all. They never, ever wanted Americans to be afraid of their government. They never wanted their government to become a terrorist organization. And it doesn't matter who's in charge. Like you say, we got troops in our cities now, people. When are they going to leave? I remember I had a comment back in August after we put them in there, and I complained about, they're leaving in 30 days. Well, it's December. They haven't left D.C. yet. I guess if they would have left in 30 days, that National Guard, those 2 National Guard wouldn't have been attacked. And that one dying, right? I don't know, maybe the other one died. I haven't heard yet. But, that wouldn't have happened. See, once the government gets their foot in the door and the American public are just like, oh, we're cool with that. That's okay. We can accept that. It's never going to go away. And Mega just cheers it on. This is what we need. I'm going to make sure in 3 years that I make a montage of mega retards that were hurrahing this shit. Because if Joe Biden would have done this 4 years ago, there would have been no horror. Oh yeah, we need the troops in the street to fight crime. We would have all, and Mega knew what it was all about. But now since Trump's doing it, Mega just completely forgot about what it's all about. They have become so authoritarian, they will try to arrest you if you don't pay them to build a house in your own. Yeah. Just to build a fucking house. They're in every aspect of your life. And how are they going to know all about this? Who's in this group? Are they going to sit there and just do a blanket surveillance thing where we're authorized to surveil any American that we feel is a threat? One time warrant, right? Because they got to. But then again, they're gathering all our information anyway. I mean, see, that's all illegal. And Americans don't understand that anymore. With the government trying to know everything about us, basically spying on us in our house. I mean, cameras everywhere with just the appliances and the TVs and stuff you buy. Pretty soon every corner of your house is going to be covered by a camera. I mean, I'm sure your smart TV doesn't have to be on for them to sit there and activate the camera as long as you're hooked up to the internet. That's one thing about me when I got a smart TV, it's all they sell now. And when I'm not watching the internet on my TV, I disconnect the internet. I watch a lot of movies and stuff, DVDs and stuff. But anyway, all this is ridiculous. But now we're going to have a list, right? What was another one they're going to have on the list? Anybody who's against ICE, that was one of them. Anybody who's against illegal immigration, well, that would be, or for illegal immigration, okay? Well, that would be everybody that's against ICE, okay? So you're going to create another group that's just the same other group? The thing is, eventually, okay, if this stuff progresses, eventually every American is going to be on the other side of the line because of some reason, and you're going to be on a list. Okay? I just don't understand it. I just don't understand why Americans can't work out and like a mega. Oh, this is a great idea. Well, great. Like I say, the Democrats had their domestic extremists during Obama and Biden. And now we got the Republicans making lists of Americans. Because like Americans like me disagree with the biggest domestic terrorist in this country. See, you're either going to bow down to the biggest domestic terrorist in this country, or they're going to eliminate you. Since Americans can't get together, they're just going to pick us off one by one, one by one, one by one. Even as Nazi Germany was losing the war, but after they tried to assassinate Hitler, Hitler had still finally achieved complete control over Germany in the dying days of his empire. Okay? But these people, a list. Well, you know what, Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino and Cash, fuck you, Patel. Your girlfriend's a fucking Mossad agent. You're going to come and sue me, bitch? I only work for Mossad. That's like saying I used to work for the CIA. Who the hell would believe somebody once you're in the fucking dirty ass organization, you're in it forever. Okay? But whatever. I guess, when it comes time to get rid of the terrorists, we're going to have our deck of cards. Of course, it's going to have to be a 4-deck card, kind of like a casino with all the bad guys on it that need to be arrested in the government. And now I guess the government's going to start, if you turn your neighbor in that you think is a domestic terrorist, and if the government finds out, oh my God, you were right. I mean, are they ever going to find out you're not right? You're going to get money for that. Yay! But you Republicans aren't Nazis. Nah. I can show you some film from the 1930s that would prove different in 40s. Interviews from people in the 1990s that did turn in their neighbors, that got sent to the gas chambers and killed. Okay? But the Democrats aren't no better. I'm no Democrat supporter either. They're a bunch of communists. But anyway, you don't want to say you're a fascist? Well, then stop acting like them. I mean, Trump just thinks he can sign an executive order, or we don't even need Congress anymore. Or we're going to get rid of the ones that don't agree with me so he can have his Reichstag like Hitler had, full of a bunch of yes men, where everything passes 100%. And they'd be like, God, look at the whole American public's behind it. All the representatives voted yes on it. I mean, I hate saying this shit. I want America back. And listening to MAGA is hard to listen to them now, as it was to fucking the liberals when Biden was in office. All you people for these lists, good. All you MAGA that think it's a great idea, you didn't think it was a great idea when they labeled you a domestic extremist. But now since your side's in power, it's okay to label other Americans that you don't agree with. And not only okay, it needs to be done, right? It needs to be done. Oh, I know YouTube's going to hide this live stream. They don't want this out. They don't want an American that's basically going to sit there and say the Democrats and Republicans are both destroying the country and they're the domestic terrorists in Washington, D.C. And once we take care of that terrorist, then the rest of them will go away. Anyway, this is the country we live in, folks. Remember, when you sit there and pray to your God, at least on your Sunday, are you at least a moral human being then? Just because somebody disagrees with you doesn't mean they should be put on a list. If we would start enforcing the laws in this country, we would have the problem to do. I mean, the government's job is to secure the border. Well, they allowed all these people in here, and now we got anti-ICE riots. Our economy sucks. Americans are being killed and suffer because of the illegal immigration. And not one politician is held accountable for not doing their job to secure the border. They created the problem. Now they're going to create the solution. We get to have another list. I remember growing up, it didn't matter what president was in office. We still live in America. Okay, if you would have sat there in the 1970s talking about putting people on lists, or Reagan putting people on lists and shit, and maybe they did back then, but they didn't come out and say it. I'm sure every president's got, or every administration's got its list of enemies, okay? But, it wasn't an official list. I mean, when they do this, people, it's an official list. It's a government document. You get put on that list that you are a domestic terrorist of this country on paper. that becomes a legal document with no rights, no due process. You got put on a list because your neighbor said so. I mean, am I the only one that can see the danger in this? Like I say, why can't we all just get along? Why can't the 60% of us in the middle, who are the majority, tell the left and the right to go kiss our ass? Anyway, but yeah, I'm going to be on a list. Well, all you people that are making your lists of Americans that just want to live their life, and see, the problem is, government, you're not supposed to interfere with our life. You're still supposed to make sure that we can exercise our peace, liberty, and our pursuit of happiness. Our job as Americans is to mess in your guys' life. We're supposed to be the ones that are supposed to be overseeing you. We're the ones that are supposed to be ridiculing you. We're the ones that are to be told, like social media, that you're a bunch of idiots. You need to start doing your job. Okay? You are the ones that need to be interfered with, not us. You are the ones that need to be put on a list of politicians that ain't doing their damn job and have to go next time. And it's all twisted around now. The politicians want to get rid of their enemies. And an enemy to the government now is anybody who believes in the Constitution. Anybody who's willing to defend it. And seeing some of these right-winger YouTubers that are okay with this shit, like I say, in 3 years, when the Democrats take over, because, you know, a lot of Republicans like me, conservatives like me, I'm not Republican, I'm constitutional conservative. I hate both parties. But we're not going to come out and vote. You know, the Democrats are going to win in the midterms because of default. It's going to sit there and wake the Republicans up, and they're going to lose the White House in 3 years because the Republicans aren't going to come out and vote. Why would you come out and vote as a Republican if you're going to get the same shit, if not worse in some ways, than Democrats give you? Okay? I'm sure every Republican is not happy we got troops in the street. Anyway, let them go make their freaking lists all they want. What are we going to do to stop them? I know. Like I say, Tucker Carlson, totalitarian is one road we're going to take. Or if Americans decide to grow some freaking balls, you know, like the rest of the world is looking at American citizens saying, what the fuck is going on, people? You got your history. You got the Second Amendment, the American culture, the American spirit, the Star-Spangled Banner. And you're going to be taken over by terrorists because this thing, a lot of problems in the world would be solved if the United States would just mind its own fucking business. Okay? No foreign entanglements. Right? Founding father principle. No foreign entanglements. We are not going to export freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We're going to import people that want to become Americans and experience that. Okay? So everybody who thinks the list is a great idea, well, you know, like I say, think back to when you were on the list of being a domestic extremist, where paperwork may have been written up, or your name or your organization that you were attached to was on a federal piece of paper that was a legal document. I'm telling you, it's a bad thing. Bad thing. But let's get into no foreign entanglements now in the Venezuela thing. Anyway, before I get started that, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up to subscribe and the bell notification. YouTube's slamming down hard on my channel again. They got fucking 4 feet on the goddamn brakes, pushing as hard as they can. I still don't understand why they haven't canceled my channel. You know, maybe they're gleaming information off of me. I don't know. Or they sit there and want to have more nails they can throw in my coffin when they take me to court for, you know, being a domestic terrorist. You know, as a Marine who serve my country, I got to be talked down to by these fucking beta male politician pieces of shit and be called that. You know why they call us that? You know why us vets, why they call us this? Because we're their biggest threat. There are more of us than there are of them. And we're better well trained. But see, we're divided. And why don't we do it? Because of the domestic terrorists in D.C. that got everybody fucking scared that if you stand up to the government, which is your responsibility as an American citizen to stand up and get in their fucking face, if you're willing to do that, they want you gone. I mean, sure hope they don't start building concentration camps. I'd hate to be right about that. But like I say, I know I can see what's coming. And as Americans, they can't figure it out. I'm headed out there. Nobody's going to fucking find me. You know, I've seen guys that live out in the woods, and I saw one that had a pack train of like 8 mules, and he had 100-pound propane bottles on there and stuff out in the woods where nobody knew where he was at. Some of us are willing to give up any modern convenience to be free of this totalitarian shit. But remember, when you Americans finally become on that list and there's nobody left to stand up for you, remember how many people you stood up for before you were on that list. Anyway, let's get into no foreign entanglements. This Venezuela shit. Okay? One reason we ain't at war with Venezuela, thank God, is because only 20% of the American public is behind it. And it needs to get smaller than that. But as long as it don't get bigger, Trump's hands are tied. Completely tied. And people don't understand geopolitically how much of a hornet's nest that would stir up. Okay? You're just going to... Everywhere we go, we destabilize an area, right? So we're going to destabilize Central America and piss off Mexico? Anyway, I realize they're third world countries, but if we weren't the world reserve currency, we would be too. And everybody needs to know that. But this war with Venezuela and how Americans just think it's a great idea to sit there and blow the shit out of these boats and then kill the people that survived out in the ocean. They're just fine with that. You mean to tell me we treated terrorists with more respect in the rules of the Geneva Convention than for enemy combatants than we are these drug people? Boy, are we going to start blowing up CIA people's cars? I mean, when are we going to stop the CIA from dealing drugs? Huh, Trump? We can stop that war on drugs. By the way, you got the military out there. You mean to tell me, okay, these guys are drug runners, right? You consider them the enemy, right? Wouldn't you want to capture maybe one or two and get some intel off of them? I mean, that's typical military operation. Is to, if you could sit there and capture somebody and glean, get intel off of them, that's what you do. And then they can throw them in Guantanamo Bay. Anyway, can we do that? We can't send a speeding boat out to them. If they decide to sit there and fire at them, then you blow them out of the fucking water. What if they decided to surrender? This is bullshit. This is not run like any military. We ain't a renegade fucking force. There's no reason why the U.S. can't take these boats down. I mean, you don't have to blow them up with a missile. Fucking all you got, you don't even have to kill anybody in the damn thing. Just strafe it with machine gun fire over the motor. They can pinpoint that machine gun fire over the motor. And then you got 3 live enemy combatants that you can get intel off of. Why don't they do that? because Americans just love seeing those sights of those boats getting blown out of the water. Me personally, I watched the first one, thought it was stupid. I've seen a lot worse in the military. But anyway, the average civilian watch Wodenschau or whatever, the reels that Nazi Germany used to put before their shows in their cinemas about the military blowing stuff up and stuff, get people, oh, this is so great. Yeah. I just wondered why it's death to all, but we're going to let the CIA continue to run drugs. Really? And we're not going to, since we're blowing boats out of the water, like I say, why don't we warm up to get the B-52s running and carpet bomb some of these drug cartels in Mexico? Carpet bomb their whole fucking complex and just keep flying them around. Land in the U.S., fill up with fuels and bomb, take off, and just fucking bomb the shit out of them. And do it again, and again, and again. How about 100 plane raids with B-52s? You ain't going to have to worry about them getting shot out of the sky. Where are we going to do that? Or is that too extreme? Killing people's killing people. Okay? I love how people think, well, they died an easier death. Okay? They died, instead of having to take the 10 seconds to die after got shot, they died right away because, they got blown up by a missile. That's better. Anyway, I guess I got some trolls in here. See, you're a whack job. Good. I hope you enjoy the country that's coming, okay? All these people, boy, their crystal ball must be darker than hell. But anyway, it's all for Venezuela oil. Yeah, I know. And that's another thing about the oil. I watch this European station talk about updates on Europe. She does it a couple times a month. And she's talking about how Europe now wants to be free from Russian oil, Russian energy, all Russian energy by 2027. I wonder where some of that energy might come from. Any ideas? Like I say, if you see enough stories, you can start putting the dots together. Especially when you start, you've lived a while, okay, and see him play the same game over and over. And if you studied history at all, and see the same game being played over and over, you'd understand. But then you got some people, not a whack job, just shut up and listen to. Everybody has a right to their own opinion. That's the great thing about this country. They have every right to come on my channel. My channel is a First Amendment platform. Now you start acting like an adult children and just and ruining the stream. But yeah, you have a right to be respectful and give your opinion. And if you want to be an asshole, you don't have to do it over and over again. That's when you're going to get, okay, I don't have time for it. But we need to start having discussions, people. I'm not your enemy. I am not your enemy. I will protect every American, no matter what your political beliefs are, or whatever your religious beliefs, or where you came from, or what your color is, as long as you're an American. You don't come here like Dearborn, Michigan, and want to set up a Sharia law state. No, that shit don't fly. But Trump, you're going to do something about that? You're going to do something about, you're going to kick that fucking mayor from Dearborn, Michigan out of this country? Are you? Is he on your list? Or the mayor in New York? Oh no, you guys are buds now. Yeah, I'd move to New York. Are you going to arrest him, Donald Trump? Is he on your fucking list? No, he wouldn't be on your list because then you'd have to put the U.S. government on your fucking list. Ah, boy. Like I say, a lot of this is because I'm on the outside looking in, people. You live in the big city and you're captivated by that green piece of paper and, you know, you need Starbucks and all the convenience of life and you can't live without them, you're in the cage and you can't see like I see. I live a poor, humble life, and it's so relaxing. Now, yeah, I have potential to make more money than I do, but I choose not to. I don't want to waste any more of my time chasing that green piece of paper, so I got to give more to the government so they can destroy the world. I'm trying to take me as a cog out of the system. And if more people could do that, not become dependent on the government. I mean, like I say, you 60, 65 years old, never ever once filled out a welfare or government assistance paperwork at all in your life. And the first thing you do at 65, what do? You go to the Social Security office and fill out a government dependency form, basically. Do you not? Tell me you don't. Tell me your other retirement funds, you have as much control over your Social Security account that you do over your other retirement funds, right? Right? Absolute complete control, right? I'm not doing that. I refuse to do that. People, you put all that money in, who gives a shit? It's all fucking spent anyway. I did my part of donating to destroying the world. Social Security don't exist anymore. It's unfunded liability. And when we finally lose our world reserve currency, everybody's going to understand what a third world country is. Because BRICS is looking more attractive to a lot more countries, more and more. Because the thing is, nobody wants to deal with the United States. Nobody wants a chance of pissing the United States off so the United States can mess with them financially. Okay. Plus, they want something backed by something than the good faith and good word of the American government or people, right? They want something a little bit more worthier than that. No, because people paid into Social Security that's been set up by our government. The thing is, it's an account. This is the way digital currency is going to be. You won't get a paycheck. You'll go straight to your account. But you're going to be the secondary signature on that account. The government's going to be the primary. And you'll be forced to make deposits, but the government, if they don't want you making that purchase, they get to control the withdrawals. Okay? I can see it plain as day. But then again, we were brought up studying communism and understanding why it was bad. People are looking at communism now as a way to make their lives better. Okay, it doesn't make your life better, and eventually, the people that have the money run out of money. Okay, and that's what's happening in today's world too. You know, a lot of the boomers are dying, and their wealth is being squandered and taken from them by the government and stuff, and the little guy's just running out of money to give. The big guy. And I made a video once of there's just not enough money left in the world. And there isn't. Us little people don't have enough money anymore to keep the big people happy. We don't, if you're in debt, thank God I'm debt free. But you people that are in debt and struggle and can't make a car payment or a house payment, and like I say, when the government's got to infuse $120 billion into the bank over a couple days so they can remain solvent, tells me that people are not paying their loans back. Okay? They can't afford it. But the government, it's not like the government's going to give you money so you can sit there and say, we'll give you this money and you pay off this bill, this note to the bank, okay? They don't even let you be the middleman, okay? So you can get some relief from it. They just give the money straight to the fucking banks, bypassing the people that pay for it. I mean, this is one thing everybody needs to realize. We pay for the government. All this shit going on, we pay for it. You want a revolution that no shot is fired? How about we just cut the government off the titty? Okay? But but you never get everybody not paying taxes. Well, I have to because the government's going to come and arrest me. What, 200 million people? The government's going to come and arrest 200 million people? Or let's just say all the business owners. They're going to arrest all the business owners and shut all the businesses down in the country because the businesses finally said, screw you. It's the employee we're concerned about, not you, you fucking government. Anyway, bad times ahead, people. Bad times ahead. Well, I'm going to get out of here. I got stuff to do today. Like I say, this is my take 2 on my live stream. YouTube's really putting it out on me. Anyway, it doesn't matter. When all shit breaks loose, okay, if you're not prepared to react to whatever the situation may be that you have to react to, okay, you're history. But I know the clock is ticking down. Boy, a lot has changed since Trump took office, hasn't it? It hasn't even been a year yet, people. Anyway, but I'm going to make sure I'm safe before the next 3 years arise. Crazy times, people, crazy times. And all you people that are for this, one day you'll be on a list too. And one day, oh my God, I guess if we can blow up drug boats, can't we just blow up cars? Instead of pulling the cars over on the highway, why don't we just send somebody who's hauling drugs to the United States? Instead of sending the cops, we'll just send a Apache helicopter after them and send a missile up their ass. Wouldn't that be a great thing to do? Anyway, appreciate everybody being here. To help support the channel, please hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. And if you want to donate further, you can through the super chats thing. But go hide it. I don't have a bunker. You know, a bunker is a coffin. Anybody who thinks, you know, does that look like a bunker? There are so many places out here out west that are so isolated and desolated. People don't go to. Believe me, I can find it. I already know some isolated spots, but I'm going to find one even more isolated where my neighbor's Bigfoot. So, and I'm going to sit there as the world crumbles one day with my popcorn and beverage and just be like, well, I guess I was right again. Double tap to like. Anyway, but I appreciate everybody being here. Okay, it doesn't matter. Our politicians hate us all. I made a short last night. You know, we may think our world cannot function without politicians, but our politicians believe that our world can function without us. And that's the truth. Okay, I am not going to be a slave. So if I got to fight for my freedom, so be it. But I'm not going to go down to my knees. I will not go down to my knees in front of my Lord saying that I knelt before another human being. Okay, I can't do that. Can't do that. Stand strong. Whatever. They're all a bunch of beta male retards anyway. Why would I want to ever think that I need to fear a beta male like Lindsey Graham or Donald Trump or Chuck Schumer or J.D. Vance? Another Marine, that Milli Vanilli. Heck, J.D. Vance gets to be president, he'll probably bring General Milli Vanilli back to Joint Chiefs of Staff. Yeah, I'm saying that about you, jarhead. You fucking prick. Bought off by like the rest of them. And you celebrating your Indian, holiday, where they celebrate a holiday of a cow and are in a cow. I like working with cows, okay? But I'm not going to get in a bunch of cow shit with my fellow cowboys and start throwing shit at each other because we're celebrating the holiday. That would be considered mental illness, and no other cowboy would ever look at you again. And you'd lose complete respect. But don't worry, they're celebrating in the White House. I can't wait till us American citizens celebrate the 4th of July in the White House. Anyway, Everybody have a great day. Smile through your day. This homeless guy watches Eric Comp. Eric Comp. ERICCOMP. Check his channel out. Smile your way through the day. This is Tom with Hidden Truths. I'm out of here.